BIABPA Attachment A, Section 3. Training Agenda. BIABPA Attachment A consisting of MEF Business Process Analysis Worksheet. MEF Business Process Analysis Worksheet. In preparation for completing the BPA worksheet and to expedite the process, capture the required information outlined in the Business Impact Analysis Business Process Analysis Worksheet Data Requirements Guide. Business Process Analysis Worksheet. If the impact and sensitivity requirements were identified in Worksheet Number 2, the Department Functional Unit and functions are pre-populated based on the information entered in Worksheet Number 1. Notice that the OD Congressional and Legislative Affairs Office previously entered in Row 4 was not carried forward due to the time sensitivity not being identified in Worksheet Number 2. In Column D, list the inputs required to support the function, including data and information from collateral sources. From the Worksheet Data Requirements Guide, identify the inputs required to accomplish the MEF outputs, including the information, guidance, and coordination from both internal within the agency and external outside of the agency partners. Inputs may come from other components and agencies, such as federal agencies, the private sector, and international entities if appropriate. Input will include information, completed action by partners, requests from constituents, hardware, materials, etc. For each of the mission essential functions, you need to identify the function's inputs or products that are required to support the MEF, columns E through K. If there is a leadership component to support this function, place the letter X in the appropriate cell. Leadership includes the senior decision makers designated to head an organization or their designated successors. If there is a staff component to support this function, place the letter X in the appropriate cell. Staff will include personnel, both senior and core, that provide the leadership and functional support necessary to continue operations. Consider the following when identifying required staff for support and performance: skills, training, certifications, licensing, clearances, expertise, and authorities. If there is a facilities component to support this function, place the letter X in the appropriate cell. Facilities include all locations where leadership, staff, or IT systems may operate in support of essential functions during a continuity event. This includes existing alternate facilities, alternate usages of existing facilities, telework for staff, as well as alternate processing facilities for IT systems. If there is a communications and/or IT requirement, fixed satellite, high-frequency radio, secure cell phone, etc., to support this function, place the letter X in the appropriate cell. Communications will include voice, video, and data capabilities that enable the leadership and staff to conduct the mission-essential functions of the organization. These communications must provide the ability to communicate internally with area offices and with other entities, federal, state, local, and tribal governments after transition to alternate sites if necessary to perform their MEFs. If there is a resources and budgeting component to support this function, place the letter X in the appropriate cell. Consideration must be made for the acquisition of the resources necessary on an emergency basis. Funding for continuity programs should be based on continuity requirements and prioritized appropriately within IHS headquarters, area offices, or IHS-supported budget requests. If there are application and information system components required to support this function, place the letter X in the appropriate cell. Applications and information systems required might include IT systems, web, database and application servers, and IT equipment such as laptops, printers, etc. If there is a procedures component to support this function, place the letter X in the appropriate cell. Procedures can include standard operating or readiness procedures, memorandum of agreement or understanding, as well as contingency, disaster recovery, or continuity of operations plans. In column L, list the products generated as a result of executing this function, including data and information from collateral sources. Identify what the MEF is intended to accomplish. What are the deliverables provided by the MEF? Deliverables may be a list of tasks to be completed, goods or services to be delivered, or information developed and provided to external partners or constituents. Identify all products outputs that result from the performance of the MEF. What is the MEF intended to accomplish? What are the deliverables? Determine if this function supports other MEFs or depends on other MEFs for support. Determine the business flow requirements as related to other department or functional area MEFs. Contact the business POC for coordination. Determine the business flow requirements that are required from other department or functional area MEFs. Contact the business POC for coordination. Does this MEF require support from another MEF, or does it provide support to another MEF? Place the letter X in the appropriate cells. Most agencies interact with and are dependent on other agencies or partners in a variety of ways. Other agencies may include federal, state, or local organizations, public utilities, nonprofit organizations, and the private sector. Identify both internal and external interdependencies with other agents necessary to ensure the continued performance of the MEF. Include agencies for which the MEF is dependent and those that provide critical information, authorization, or direction. Identify both internal and external interdependencies with other agencies which require continued performance of the MEF. Include agencies for which the MEF provides support and or critical information, authorization, or direction. For columns O and P, list by name the internal and external organizational dependencies for this function. This completes BIABPA Attachment A, Section 3. To continue, go to BIABPA Attachment A, Section 4.